He's the one from Tennessee, playing back in string number 4. He's the one from Baltimore. Now, all you ladies in the center of the stick, keep on old Yankee do you circle around and around that path. Then promenade around, go Indian style, promenade around in the Indian style, promenade around in the center a while. Then you swing around and around that town in your boots.
And these are my grandchildren, part of them. In a little while, the CBS Travelers will be demonstrating the running set figures that are contained in this book. The running set is a distinct form of dance in the Appalachians, and it has certain recognizable parts. Now those parts are the opening and closing figure, which are performed by all dancers in the set. The visiting couple figures, of which there are 4 visiting couple figures, one led by each of the 4 couples in the set, and the connecting figures, of which there are 3, one performed between each of the visiting couple figures. In today's world, you might wonder how the running set figures have been preserved essentially unchanged for several centuries through oral tradition. To explore this question just a little and to give us some background on it, let's look at the Appalachian mountain region. It's a chain of mountains that reach from northern Alabama in the eastern part of the United States up into New York State. More particularly, let's focus in on the southern Appalachians, which embrace West Virginia and parts of Virginia, Kentucky, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. The casual traveler through these mountains today would have difficulty comprehending the isolation that has enfolded our people in past years, as recently as 25 years ago. Indeed, the vastness of the Appalachian ridges and hollows will be little more than passing historical trivia to our grandchildren, since they will never have experienced the sense of timelessness and the mountain reinforced tendency to travel only a day's walk away from home. Now there are at least 2 major reasons for the change in the Appalachian situation, and both of them have occurred during the last half of this century. Telecasting, particularly satellite telecasts, which have placed a window to the world in the homes of many of our residents, is one. The second is a dramatic change in personal mobility brought about by road developments in this section of Appalachia. For example, this type of road is not now uncommon to the area. However, 10 years ago, the country road where we started was the only access to this local area. We'll now move further south to the head of Pond Fork, which is a tributary of Little Coal River, which flows by this new expressway in Lincoln County. We are now deep in southern West Virginia, standing in Boone County. Within 4 or 5 miles to the west is Logan County. To the east, Raleigh County. To the south, Wyoming County. The road we followed to this spot was constructed during the last 25 years. Off in that direction, beyond the ridge, is a road crossing the mountain that roughly parallels this road. It is locally known as Walnut Gap. On the way here, we had mentioned the perceptions that may be formed in the future by our grandchildren. Among my grandchildren is a grandson named Isaac. He was named after his great-great-grandfather, who around 100 years ago made annual trips north over the old Walnut Gap Road with a wagon and team to the Kanawha River Valley for the year's supply of salt. As the crow flies, the distance was no more than 60 miles or so. However, by wagon over the roads of that day, the trip took the better part of a week. With these examples, it should be easier to understand how the running set, an identifiable dance form, has been preserved for so long deep in the Appalachians. However, partly as a result of the richness of our cultural heritage, and partly as a result of the oral traditions that have grown during the time that the running set has been kept alive in the many local areas of these southern mountains. The figures themselves commonly have 2 or more authentic variations, and in many cases a single figure will have 2 or more different names. Such differences only serve to verify the authenticity of these traditions. The natural beauty and grace of this dance can be enhanced by the dancers as they perform the figures, as well as by the caller in the manner in which he choreographs the figures which he calls. Given the number of authentic figures and variations which are known, it is not appropriate to invent new figures. Rather, the emphasis should be upon the preservation and discovery of those figures that have been traditionally done. Let's proceed now to demonstrate some of the figures from the running set book.
To learn more figures, visit SImonePace.com and order the Encyclopedia of Traditional Appalachian Square Dancing by Bill Nichols and Garland Steele. A link is below.